Whenever I hear criticisms from people who say things like, you outgrew the show, that's why you don't like it anymore, you're completely ignoring the countless fans that love Dinothunder, SPD, RPM. If we blindly hated PR because of that, why would we still enjoy the past seasons and newer seasons? It comes down to how well the writers pulled together all the talents and Sentai footage. When they hit pay dirt, you get stuff like Dinothunder. I personally saw Dinothunder as MMPR Season 4, and it's not just because of Tommy, it's because it was the best modern season to capture the feel of the classic series without it just being nostalgia points. They went in to tell their own stories while throwing in references and elements from the past that weaved in. It didn't just go, here's some MMPR, now go away. That's Megaforce's problem. There was something here for everyone. Katrina even got a second chance at a better role. If you are coming back into the series, Dinothunder is a very good jumping in point. You will get the feels of old and see the style of what's new and not cringy. If you have an idea or topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below. I might use it in a future video.
Beneath the surface.
Dinothunder was king of using all the established areas and characters to work within the frame of a story. MMPR had the school setting, but it was mostly non-essential to the majority of the series. DT went further by having Tommy be their science teacher. I had really wished Professor Burley had gone in that direction where he found out their secret, working along with Tensu. He could have easily been the guy who came up with the Super Megaforce suits. Tommy plus the class suffering from candidiasis with Randall. They used the school trip as a front to find the missing dinosaur egg, so we get to see how the auxiliary Zords are found or created. It's a very simple world building episode, but I did enjoy the early ones that featured the school stuff. It also helps keep that connection to the younger audience. The main cast really nailed the whole whining about school. They can go from saving the world, fighting monsters, piloting 300-foot robots, but pop quizzes is the stuff that scares them.
Drawn into danger.
It's the one and only time Trent's drawing talent comes into play, a way to harken back to MMPR's bizarre episodes. We just came back from the classic Trapping the Rangers in Sleep plan, so now we go into this drawn universe. It's a mixture of movie madness and the very odd storybook Rangers. There's a lot of monsters from Abba Ranger they couldn't fully do. It's a zany season, lots of it couldn't be adapted. Trent also posed a problem. He was turned good earlier, so how do you get to use him while saving money? All intents and purposes, this is a bottle episode. The comic was used to stitch together whatever footage they could use from these, including some weird moments. It's one of Trent's good standalone episodes. It didn't involve his evil clone. He wasn't going on about his father every second. It was just about saving an artist he loved. It's a trippy episode, plus it has that weird filter on the whole thing. Probably is one of those episodes that annoys people. I guess everyone's here like, you picked this one. I like it when we get a breather. More Trent is always welcome. It gets to use everyone. Its only fault is that it came right after that sleeping one. It's basically another version of that. It would have been better to have aired this later.
Star is torn.
Kira didn't get much in Focus Story, so it was between this and It's a Mad Mad Mackerel, which I do like. Kira ends up helping Devin and Cassie a lot, but it doesn't give her a full focus. While this was about where does Kira want to go in life? She's talented in music, but didn't really know how far she wanted to go. In other episodes, she was trying out different things like news reporting and TV show production. So she took this gig to try out a more extreme, seeing if she thought this was her. Obviously it wasn't. She does music, but not like this. It was the record label's direction. This built her confidence in what she liked instead of being molded by someone else, which in return helped her on the team. And it built up the trust between Connor and Ethan. They didn't like each other in the beginning, and now she's taking input from these guys. That's the big step the team accomplished.
Copy that.
We don't get much between Mercer and Trent. It's one of the limitations that the Mesogog character brought. I had always wanted an arc where Anton was back to normal, kind of like when Mr. Fantastic cured Thing. What was that dynamic with Tommy working with him? How did they meet? So when episodes like this happen, it'd be a stronger moment. It's still a really good call with the writers. Whenever Sentai does Evil Rangers, PR tends to get them fixed faster. I don't know if it's because of toy sales suffer or they don't want to be stuck writing Evil for too long. This change from Abba Ranger really helped. Moments where Anton can show his love for his son by saving him. They knew how to use classic elements in a new way and not just recycle them and say, here's your nostalgia. Evil Clone and Trent, too much white energy. That's why people love Dinothunder. You can do nostalgia right. It's always possible to work around footage limitations. You have to be on the ball. I want to reference blah. How do I work this in so that it impacts our characters and the audience emotionally versus Megaforce's how do I work this in and then stop?
Bully for Ethan.
A good small building episode. Ethan was kind of your stereotype nerd, the bully of the team, so a lot of people didn't like him, although I think he deserves some of that. Remember what he did in the pilot? He's not all flowers. However, he didn't deserve to have bullies look at him as weird. He's just a dude who likes computer stuff. He's not different from anyone loving stats on a baseball card. It was a nice episode for kids. To see Ethan not get into a fight, but not run away from the problem. He took his skill and was able to help out the bully who became the Mercury Ranger a few years later. This was the last time Ethan was seen as the nerd. He grew past that point, got over his fears, and took helping people at heart. I'm glad he stopped with the pranks.
Strange relations.
Not only does DT bring back MMPR, the clone story reminds me of the Psycho Rangers. The Clone Ranger was symbolism as clear as you can get. How does Trent fight his inner demons? Here's your clone. How does Trent release his anger towards Mesogog? Here's your clone. It's the decisive battle. One of them has to die or they both get killed. Thank you, Too Much Pink Energy. This is what evil Rangers need. You need to face your fears, what you did to people. You can't just brush it off, which was a big mistake on MMPR's part. You need to see some remorse on what you did. Look at how many times Trent screwed up. Connor and everyone kept giving him chance after chance after chance. He needed to redeem himself badly. Get rid of this clone. Stop Mesogog at all costs. He's only doing this because Trent's the only one he can live in his head for free. A much good, satisfying ending to his personal arc. Look how far we've gone from Tommy looking sad for 10 seconds and shaking Jason's hand. We had Ryan struggle, and now Trent's.
White Thunder Part 3.
Why the White Ranger stung so badly in DT was what he did. It wasn't just that cocky attitude towards the team or the raw power. White Ranger was violating their space, just like how Tommy violated the command center, nearly killing Zordon. The Rangers' Zords were being attacked and appropriated against them, the worst being the Stegozord forming the Dino Stegozord. Like, what can't this guy do? He's messing around with the Zords, pissing off everyone with the way he's fighting, treating them like a bunch of little kids. Every which way he was an ass. You could see why Connor unlocked his Super Dino mode fighting White Ranger. White Ranger pushed all the buttons on the fans, including going after Dr. O. We were right there with the team in frustration that the White Ranger gave everyone, even Mesogog.
Fighting spirit.
While Trent fights his demon, Tommy gets help from some of his. I would say Dinothunder is the season of inner workings. All the characters went through this process. Ethan with his bully and Cassidy date episode, Kira with Trent and her singing, Connor with his soccer and attitude. So what did Tommy have? Well, his past. Things that he wants to forget, but you really can't get away from that. What was it like to be taken captive, brainwashed, be a part of 4 different teams? This huge history of knowledge, plus all the stuff he went through with Smitty and Anton. I can see Tommy being lost. He doesn't have anyone to relate to. He's long past his high school years. Kim and everyone have long moved on. He's the mentor of these kids, so he doesn't want to show weakness. All this is bottled up when Trent tricked him. First, he got stuck in the suit, then he was stuck invisible. Tommy could easily be thinking he's losing his edge. Maybe he's not cut out to be a ranger anymore, so his memories came to his rescue. This episode is pure fan service. It doesn't move anything forward in Dinothunder, but it moved Tommy. This is what I mean by useful fan service. It's a powerful tool when done right. Cobra Kai is a shining example on how you do it perfectly. It needs to have a purpose. It's cool and all to see Tommy have Saba and be in the Green Ranger costume for the legendary battle, and I can ignore the continuity issues it brought up at the time if they had used these moments to grow the characters or the new Rangers. It failed to do both. That's why people don't like Super Megaforce. Fighting Spirit was basically a form of closure. We may never have Tommy be a main character ever again. It allowed MMPR to end on a good note. That's one thing that sucked. Practically everything from MMPR is long gone, with the exception of the main Rangers and Alpha. Nothing remains from that era. Bringing back life to that old time, even just for an episode like this, is satisfying. Even better when it becomes a part of Tommy's survival.
Thunderstorm Part 2.
This was Trigina's revenge done right. Remember how I said that the lack of character interaction was the major flaw with that one? Here, with the same amount of characters and only 2 parts, both teams were able to bond and show us what's been going on, and even you Sensei. They were able to cram so much in. While the first part featured the Wind Rangers being evil, it was an amazing piece of writing. It showed the love that the production had towards Ninja Storm. I can't even complain about Hunter. They even made fun of the Cassidy and Mara thing. Plus, we even got some closure to Lothar. It's not a happy ending. The Ranger powers were still gone. I'm also glad Tommy wasn't made a big deal. He worked alongside Sensei. No one drooled. You'd think Mara and Capri would have been the 2 to do that. Dinothunder did that perfectly. They knew when to pull out the God card. They knew when not to do it. It doesn't take much to pull off a team up. We just need to see they're alive and kicking while we have a new season going on. It helped that the teams were very similar. The only real thing I could say lacked was some personal moments. If it was a movie, they would definitely had Hunter and Blake talk to Trent, dealing with being used, going evil, people not trusting them, but it's not a big deal. They hit everything else that I liked.
House of Cards.
This is one of those hard decisions. Trent has been through a roller coaster of pain, from his father being distant, moving around constantly, then the Dino Gem turning him evil, so no one trusts Trent. Then to hide Mercer is actually Mesogog from people that still see you as the enemy, with Kira who's backing you up countless times, even when you destroyed the city, all to find out you kept this hidden. How do you think the Rangers would react to Anton? I wouldn't be able to trust Trent anymore. I just see him as a traitor. I can't imagine what Kira felt at that moment. I'm actually curious who was damaged more, the Dino Rangers or Trent? Stop White Ranger over and over again being nearly killed how many times? If I was placed in that situation, I think I would have quit right there. I wouldn't have wanted to be around someone like this. Trent did so much damage. We tend to overlook this part of his arc, which is why I really enjoyed his story, because he didn't give up. He totally knew he blew it, but it's his father. It's a no-win problem he's dealing with. You could see it in Tommy. He's been through a lot himself. That's the beauty of the episode. No one's wrong, no one's right. The question really was, do you have the power to continue? It's not about strength, intelligence, or fighting. Do you have the will to see the bigger picture and to stop it? It's why it's so poignant. Then on top of it, the following episode, Mercer is separated from Gog. It almost felt like a last laugh. Mesogog stuck around and waited till everything fell apart. It's hard to pick which Disney season I loved more, Dinothunder or RPM. Both seasons were excellent in what they set out to do. I'm a little biased. I've always loved dinosaurs. That usually gives extra points. But DC's cast, was one of those lucky ones that just worked and you wanted more from them. Really very little to complain about. The biggest problem was Haley got nothing to do. I wish she had gotten one focus episode about her. If we had the Anton Good episode, that could have also linked up to Haley and how Tommy put this stuff together. Other than that, it was an amazing comeback from a lot of the fan issues that Ninja Storm brought. Highly suggest checking out this season, even checking out Operators. It's good on its own right. New episodes Mondays. Next week, my top 10 Lost Galaxy episodes. 2 episodes remain. If you like my content, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Due to fair use abuses from the various companies, I no longer feature footage from the various episodes. Thank you for understanding. See you in the next video.